All right. Well, glad we're here right now to talk about this.
Yeah, thanks for meeting to discuss this.
Absolutely. I was thinking to begin, we could just kind of both kind of state what our viewpoint is. I know right now we both have offers on the table, one for $1 million, and you're asking for $50 million, so we're not very close in that regard. So to kind of get some facts out there so we know kind of what the other's looking for out of this negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Would you like to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll start. I mean, it's my client's position is simple. He feels that your client stole his software.
Yeah, and so I guess our position is twofold. Well, first, we don't think we stole your software.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was the Markman that said that there could maybe be a patent issue there, but regardless of if there was a patent issue, the fact that your client didn't bring this to market it is outside of the patent rules available. They have to kind of realize the product, and they never did that. So we don't think we're liable, and we feel pretty good about it going forward to a trial if we have to.
Yeah, you realize that claiming no infringement and attacking the legitimacy of my client's patent are two conflicting things. It's and you are in kind of the awkward, with this Markman decision, you are in kind of the awkward position of having to change your case theory in the middle of litigation.
100%. I totally get that. The conflict in the theory, I think, comes from our point of view, and then obviously because of the Markman, it makes us change a little bit how we're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, we're aware of the situation, and our investors are aware of the situation, and I think that's good for us and good for you too, that it's not like we think that there's no risk.
Mm-hmm.
We see that we understand the risk, I think.
Yeah. Of course.
So off the bat, if there was to be a lump sum payment that we could end litigation right now and save attorney's fees for your client and for my client, is there a number that would be closer to the middle of where we're at right now?
Closer to the middle, you mean between
50 and 1, right?
Million?
Yeah.
I think we could, well, for starters, my client is set on 60.
You're set on 60 million?
Yeah.
Not the 50 million that was offered earlier? Or did I misread that?
No, yeah, especially in light of this past Markman decision, where
so you're saying the settlement offer of $50 million is no longer an offer?
But we could put that back on the table in the interest of ending this, ending this process and kind of keeping these negotiations on track.
Okay. I don't think we're in a place even close to offering $50 million as a lump sum payment.
Okay.
Truthfully. When we looked at our kind of best case scenario against our worst case scenario, our worst case scenario is in that $45 to $55 million range. That would be our absolute worst case scenario, and our best case scenario is going to trial and having a $0 settlement. So, or zero. Not owing any money. So,
yeah, there's a lot of things that have to go right in between now and
100%. Yeah, 100%. I'm not saying that that's that's just saying those. That's kind of our strata of ranges, and giving everything a risk versus reward place. That's we've kind of there's somewhere in that spectrum that is probably the true value of where we could probably end this.
Okay.
So give me your case, I guess, against what would be seen as the industry standard of 4 cents on the unit. So in accord with industry practice, this would have resulted in a lump sum payment of no more than $4 million. So where you guys were originally asking for 50 cents on the 100 million units for $50 million, it seems that the industry standard here is 4. Can you talk to me a little bit about that and why you're asking for so much more?
It's just the industry average is around 4, but this isn't an app for a game or hookups or whatever. This is critical software to running any modern operating platform. So it's worth more than what software companies normally trade.
Sure.
I mean, it's crucial to your client's ability to put its product out on the market. And if we were negotiating this outside of litigation, or if we were negotiating this
as a just
normal course,
sure,
purchasing rights, we would be at a much higher price than normal.
Okay.
It's just the circumstances.
Sure. So the circumstances of the situation, that's why you're asking for a lot higher, whereas, and because of our sales volume.
Yes.
Am I getting that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. With increase in volume, there's generally a decrease in price. That's a pretty common economic principle, right? The more volume there is, there's a lower percentage taken off that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think of any pricing model, buying more things, the pricing model is subtracting. So I guess that's, with us being such a large customer, that pricing model would make a lot of sense to us, that because we would be the biggest customer you ever had, and because of all the units, then a smaller percentage would make more sense. I guess that's how we look at the situation.
Okay.
One thing that I guess is concerning, and why I think we have a really good case if this were to go to trial, despite what the Markman came out and said, we had we had applied for an auto start patent prior to the launch of our first operating system.
Yeah.
Or a like patent. Your patent on this, the patent that you guys have that covers this product, according to the Markman, when it has been licensed out, it hasn't worked, right? So, the facts say that that's been an issue with the product you've licensed out. So, the other thing that we're happy with, if this were to go to trial, is the fact that your company hasn't really turned into a company that is known for creating technology. It's known for trying to litigate patents that it creates, right? And I think from a jury perspective, that looks really good for us, and that is good for you.
Well, I think you may be a little optimistic there. I mean, for starters, it's a development firm. So, I mean, the business model is centered around developing software and selling the rights to other companies. And your client isn't exactly sympathetic.
Litigator.
So yeah, as a basically a monopoly on operating systems for PCs. It's not going to play. Also, I'd like to point out when your client applied for their patent, the U.S. Patent Office cited my client's patent as a prior art, which does not help your case.
No, definitely not.
But I mean, these are the exact. These are the questions that we're hoping to avoid having to argue.
Could we talk about? And I don't want to interrupt you here. If I am, let me know if you want to have something else to say.
Yeah.
If we let's just pretend that we were litigating something here,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to license out use of that patent to us. What would a price be for that licensing agreement?
Probably be 50 cents a unit. I mean, it's high, but
What about from a lump
need
sum?
us.
What about from a lump sum perspective?
Lump sum?
Yeah. If there was just an amount going forward, not dealing with anything in the past, just going forward. At the end of this negotiation, I guess we just want to be free and clear
Of future issues.
future issues, right? So, is there an amount of money that would be fair to license, use of, basically to clear us of any issues down the road?
Well, that's difficult because we're talking about the difference between a steady stream of income and a lump payment.
Sure.
I think 60 million will do it.
Okay. Once again, yeah.
But I'll tell you. Well, let's put a pin in that for now.
Okay.
I think if for future rights would probably be best negotiated after this is resolved. Now, let's see. In light of, in light of all of this and our client's interest in ending this battle and
Sure.
moving on, what would you say to 40 million?
I think that's still really high given our risk range. I appreciate you coming down, but our risk range just doesn't have us there for a full price. Part of our pricing is our litigation costs.
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously is expensive for us.
Yeah.
But it's expensive for you too. So I don't think that price can really be negotiated into the agreement because it's not fair. You are also paying the same as us. So
mm-hmm.
But I guess we're just looking for something a lot closer to the industry standard of 4 cents per unit, and then where we could, assure rights down the road. That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
So
I think my client might be willing to assure rights down the road if he were to get a higher price.
Okay.
Now, and he also and recognition for developing the software.
So that's a big deal to your client, right?
That's very important to him. Yes.
Okay.
But I think we could throw in future rights. It just needs to be worth our while.
What do you know the motive for wanting the recognition? Is it a business opportunity? Is it an ego thing? Is he just kind of?
Oh.
I know our clients haven't gotten along in the past.
Silicon Valley types.
Right.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Wants to, protect his reputation. He's
sure.
Definitely has a bit of an ego on him.
Sure. Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Let me just. How would that recognition look? What would it just be auto start, a unit of auto start as a I'm just trying to figure out how we could, incorporate that recognition so they would be pleased.
Maybe a record of sale on the rights.
Okay.
But I think, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Public statement would probably help.
Public statement?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess so, probably the settlement, a settlement plus a public statement.
Mm-hmm.
And then a licensing agreement. So maybe, what we could do is turn the public statement into a chance for both our companies to gain some recognition, launch the kind of the connecting of the two brands and, a partnership going forward as far as being two companies that work together in the future.
I think that would be ideal.
Right. And so kind of get over some bad blood between us. And both get a chance to kind of save face a little bit on something that I don't think either of us necessarily want to go through. Does that seem reasonable? Do you think your CEO would be willing to join ours in a press conference of that type?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that would be. I'm sure we can arrange that. No problem.
Awesome. I guess one of our biggest goals is, to feel like we're free and clear going forward. And I know we keep coming back to it, but I guess this would be my adjusted offer. Would be paying an industry standard price on the past units that we have in place. So it's 100 million units at 4 cents a unit, which is $4 million. Then pay a lump sum licensing agreement to use this for the remainder of our use of AutoStart, so that we're free and clear of all, basically, future obligations in that way. The lump sum, right now, you guys in the past have licensed products between $2 and $3 million, and they haven't been successful. Just because we're a bigger client, there's probably a little bit more value there. Our issue is that you didn't really develop the product like we've developed the product. So our engineers feel, guess, connected to the product more so, especially because some of your licensing agreements haven't worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess a number that I'm probably looking at is $4 million for a lump sum payment, and then $4 million to take care of the 100,000 units that have already been sold and aren't used.
So total of $8 million.
A total of $8 million. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to come up on that. I mean, for starters, it's considerably less than we think we can get in litigation. I mean, you have the summary judgment motion to limit damages, which
is more than likely to succeed.
You don't have a very good chance of getting.
You don't think so?
I mean, you're going to the same judge that just rejected your claims construction. You have an uphill battle with that.
I think,
and we do think we stand a very good chance of winning litigation. And just for starters, looking at it from a more cooperative standpoint, our product is worth way more than our average software.
Well,
because of the critical function that
you've never licensed this product for more than $2 or $3 million ever, right? And so, and the ones you have had to defend claims that your version of the product didn't work, right? So its value is really not that.
Yeah, with the Markman decision, though, it is, because the court basically construed our product and yours as being the same or identical.
Not identical. The Markman decision was the language from the Markman decision is similar to the one incorporated in the operating system. Okay. So similar is the term they use, and it's not really a definite. I don't think that's a definite phrase for sure, right? And if this went to court, you could still make $0 on this and lose $10 million in litigating costs.
Or we could win $200 million.
Yeah,
it could go either way. Another thing I think to bring up is to put this in perspective. This whole suit is less than 1% of your client's profits, right?
I'm not sure. I don't have that fact.
We've looked into it,
okay.
And this is and it leaves your company's ability to market and distribute the product up in the air, which cannot be playing well with investors.
I mean,
so you're not. I don't think your client is going to walk away with $0 into this, or with $0 lost in any case. In fact, you might lose more money, fighting this in a long court battle than you could save with a victory.
Okay, I understand that point. I think that point's well taken. Another interest of our client is that technology is evolving extremely quickly, and to put a high price on something that might be obsolete in 3 months or 6 months or a year is probably not a prudent investment in that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially since this particular piece of our operating system has been with it through multiple iterations, and so for there to be no technological improvement from that seems like maybe that's due, right?
It is, but who knows when or if it'll actually happen.
Yeah. Does your client have the ability to lose $10 million in litigation? They have the money to do that?
I think.
Would that make them insolvent?
It'll hurt. I'm not really at liberty to.
Sure.
But.
I guess, and one of our come downs was to make a public statement.
Yeah.
Right. Showing some good faith between our companies,
mm-hmm.
and that good faith, I think, brings a lot of value to your company. That's outside of a direct lump sum.
It does.
I don't know if I can actually give that a actual value, but I think that's considering our company's breadth and size, I think that offers a considerable amount of value for you.
It helps. We still need more than $8 million to go forward with this.
What's a number you're closer to then?
Well, so I mean, if how about 35?
35 is too high still. I'm sorry. Our range just isn't there. Just because, when evaluating basically our chance of succeeding in trial, our chance of losing the partial summary case, or partial summary judgment, as opposed to if we win the summary judgment but lose the trial, when we've looked at all that, okay, our risk range is a lot lower than 35 million. I think it's a lot closer to where we're within a couple standard deviations of the actual number, right?
The actual number being
$12 million, right? Where we could make either side of that argument pretty convincingly, right?
Yeah.
So, with the cat a little bit out of the bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I guess the highest we would go to concede on the fact that you want more than the industry average
mm-hmm.
would be 5 cents for the 100 million products in use right now, which are not necessarily in use but sold, which would be $5 million plus a lump sum payment. Well, it'd be $7 million to get to what our number was. So, getting an extra cent per 100 million units and a $7 million licensing agreement going forward. But I guess with us coming up that high, we might have to take our public statement off the table.
And what is the total?
$12 million.
12 million? And what do you figure your chances of winning this case are?
somewhere in the 60 to 80% range.
Okay, we calculate ours at roughly 75.
Okay. So we're using different numbers.
Yeah.
And that's why we're probably so far apart on the price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable. What's litigation.
What's a win for you in the case? I guess is the true story. Just winning the case or a certain dollar amount?
Win for us would be a certain dollar amount.
Right.
And
what's the dollar amount that is a win for you?
I can go down to $20 million.
$20 million.
Yeah.
And how is that? How is $20 million distributed? Is that just a lump sum with?
That's
Make sure this is still running. I know this is.
That would be roughly 20 cents per unit for the units sold prior to this litigation.
But then there wouldn't be. What about a future licensing agreement as part of that?
Well, we would be willing to. We could throw that in.
So okay. So right now, if let's just pretend like that's part of everything, right? You know, how we cut up the pie doesn't really matter in that way. And the price is just, it's high with the public statement, right?
I don't think so. The public statement doesn't cost anything. Plus, we're including future licensing agreement, which is a pretty huge value.
Our public statement is associating us with a company that is prone to be extremely litigation happy, that has been described as basically a patent litigation scavenger, right? They're just trying to, it's been described as that, and I think the industry knows that. So that public statement showing the cooperation does have a cost to us. It seems like it might be costly to you, but to us it does have a value. And I guess I just want to make sure that that value is understood. Right?
Okay. So, with that in mind, we're at 12 and 20.
Right.
And I do have to say that, like, the public statement is pretty crucial to getting my client to accept this deal.
Yeah.
But
I guess
I don't think he'll quite agree to 12.
Okay.
So how can we make this? How can we make all of this go away?
To put the public statement back on the table, to get a future use licensing agreement with no limitations, and making the public statement, the future use with no limitations, and back pay at above the industry average. sure I have the. I guess to me, if we went up to 6 cents, which is 150% of the industry average, so that's 6 million plus 7, we could go to $13 million and redo the public statement.
Let me check.
Think about it. Yep, go ahead. Yep.
I think we can agree to that.
We can agree to that?
Yep.
That's awesome. Can we just make sure we go over just one more time, just so we both have it before we get a gentleman's handshake here? Are you okay with how that's spliced up at 6 cents? 6 cents per unit of 100,000 units, or 100 million units, excuse me. So that's equal to $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
A $7 million unlimited licensing agreement. A press conference. Joint press conference. I think a good time to do that would be with the launch of our new product.
Okay.
Okay. Connecting our two brands, or showing cooperation between our two brands.
Mm-hmm.
And the licensing agreement. For a total of $13 million. That seem fair?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Good job.
Yeah.
Crank this puppy off.